Welcome to the K-Cup, the official podcast of Kelly Construction Group. I'm Joe Nortrup, your host, and I'm here with Jon Kelly, the CEO and founder of Kelly Construction Group, and this is episode 1 of the K-Cup. And we're excited that you're here with us, and today's going to be kind of an introduction to Jon and the company. He's going to tell us a little bit about his journey to here and kick this thing off. So before we get on to the story a little bit, just wanted to talk with you a little bit about the show. We know that we've been wanting to do this for a long time. We've talked about it and kicked it around, and so the days finally come, ready or not, here we are.
Right.
And hopefully we'll grow with the show and get better at what we're doing here. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your vision for the show, just so that we can kind of lay the groundwork as to what can be expected. So how do you see this thing unfolding?
No, I'm definitely glad to get the show going. I know I didn't have many ligaments or tendons left. I mean, you were twisting this arm, so I had to go ahead and start it before you pulled it clean off there.
Yeah, I was twisting.
Glad we did finally get it going. And I hope what we accomplish with this show is just to be able to bring some value to people that we may potentially work with.
Yeah.
Bring value to other entrepreneurs, other people starting businesses. Just maybe they can learn some stuff from some of the things that we've done. So
Absolutely.
We want to talk about some of those experiences,
Yeah.
and just share what it's been like for us, and hopefully we can share our journey, and some people can take something away from it they can use. So that's really what I hope to get from this show, honestly.
Awesome. I know that you had mentioned that eventually you'd like to actually have guests on. How do you see that happening?
Yeah, I mean, my idea for that is just to get some different perspective. I mean, we're going to talk about business from our perspective and the things and challenges that we've been up against. But we'd like to bring some other people in that can share some of their experiences, and also, maybe some people that we've worked with that can share what it's like to work with us. And then maybe even some people that's helped us along the way, share a little wisdom or whatever it may be. Maybe bring some of those people on and have them share some of their wisdom that we've been fortunate enough to get.
Yeah, that sounds great. I look forward to that aspect. It'll be really neat if we'll be able to actually, like you say, have guests and do some interviews and stuff like that. Get some outside insight into what we've been able to do and relationships that we've already formed, and hopefully will be ongoing. So look forward to that, and I'm excited that we're getting this opportunity again. Like I said, this is great. I have been after you for a long time to do this. I feel like it's the future. Video is the future, and I feel like people want to be able to connect with their brands that they support. And I know that you have a lot of supporters in the community. A lot of people like what you've been doing with the company, and they like our culture and all that. So I think it's just a natural extension of that to be able to be seen on video talking about that and sharing that with others, and because that's how some people get their news and their media is just strictly through video. So it's neat that we can add that feature and add those people to our audience and our family of sorts. So pretty cool. All right, so you're in the hot seat today, so we're going to get right into it. The very first question I want to ask you is about your, what inspired you? What inspired you to start your company, and what keeps that, that fire lit through all the ups and downs that come with being a business owner?
Well, I think from early on, I always wanted to have a company. I don't really know where that came from. I just kind of in my mind wanted to have a company, I think. But what I was able to do is right out of college, I went to work for a company a couple hours away, and went to work for those guys, and ended up being a really good company and some really good people. And while I was there, knowing that I wanted to have a business and seeing how these guys operated, really kind of brought into focus even more of why I wanted to have a company. And that guy, when getting ready to move there, just out of college, didn't have a lot of money and having to relocate. With no questions asked, he pretty much suggested that they take care of all the moving expense, get me set up a place to live, and that kind of thing. So that was a really good gesture in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen him do that kind of stuff quite a few times for his longtime employees. Help them in a lot of different ways. Mm. And actually, after I was there for probably a year and a half or 2 years, something else kind of popped up that he was able to really kind of help me out
Hmm.
in a big way,
Nice.
and really with no questions asked.
Wow.
So I was just able to see him do some really cool stuff for some employees and just other people, and I thought it would be nice to be able to do that. And
Yeah.
to me, having a company and you know being able to make your own money, if you will, would kind of really give me that opportunity.
Yeah.
So the first opportunity that I got to start a company, I jumped on it. My wife and I were relocating back here to Baton Rouge. Uh, this is where we were from, and
Yeah.
just wanted to get back to the area.
Sure.
She had a pretty decent job lined up, no kids or anything like that yet, so it just felt like the right time to kind of step out on a limb.
Yeah.
And we did it. It's been a great experience. Fortunately, I have been able to do a little bit of that. I have been able to help. I have been able to give back, and I've really enjoyed doing that in a big way. And honestly, I hope to be able to continue to do that a lot more and a lot more often as our company continues to grow. So that's really the reasoning behind having a company. And to answer your question as far as why do I want to see it continue to grow,
Yeah.
that answers the question. I want to continue. Obviously, I want to provide for my family in a way that's fitting and to somebody that works hard, but also want to be able to give back and see other families and other people grow. And that's what I hope for our team. So
Yeah.
that's really why I do what I do.
That's awesome. I mean, that's a great why, and speaking for the team, I can tell you we all appreciate that attitude, and it comes across in the day to day, and it sets the tone for the culture, and it's just nice, and it's also inspirational. It makes other people want to. It also, just like your former boss inspired you, you're inspiring others to want to also be able to, hopefully carry that flame down the road, and hopefully
Right.
we have some young men working for us. Hopefully you're inspiring them as well to be like that and be able to not just have enough for yourself, but to even be able to help others a little bit, and be inspirational in that regard that you're helping others. So that's awesome, man. That's a great reason why, and uh, the inspiration was definitely solid. So we appreciate that. So, all right, let's get on to. I know that you're big on mission, and I know that you have a mission statement. That's how important it is to you.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe you could just explain, just what I guess the basis of your mission really is that you've defined, and how that affects your team and the client that you're wanting to serve.
Yeah, so our mission here is to create exceptional service while also creating an atmosphere that our employees can, thrive in personally and professionally. And that is something that we talk about week in and week out. We repeat our mission statement over in most all of our meetings, just because that's the way that we want to be operating. We want our clients to literally get the best experience that they've ever gotten
Mm.
uh, when it comes to business. I know that, simple example, you go to a restaurant or
Yeah.
whatever, and you have a good waiter or a good waitress, they do a great job.
Mm.
It sticks out. You want to take care of them. You want to tell them, hey, man, you're doing awesome. Like, keep it up.
Yeah.
And that's the experience that we want our customers to get when we do business. We want them to come back. We want them to think it was the best thing ever. And we get that a lot.
Mm.
So to me, that means, we're hitting our mission. We're doing what we're trying to do. And we do reiterate it week in and week out. And also from our employee standpoint, we want you guys to grow. We want you to grow professionally. We want you to grow personally, financially. And that's things that we talk about week in and week out. And I think that we move the needle in all of those categories. I feel like when we do talk about it, everybody here shares the same sentiment that we do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our mission, and we try to stick to it. We try to operate in it day in and day out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great, and like on the employee side, like I noticed that your style of management is you're not a micromanager. You have very high standards, but at the same time, you let people have the opportunity to find their feet, so to speak, and figure out, how they can execute their job. As long as they're executing it within that framework, that's required to produce a good result. You're very flexible otherwise, which is really great because it just removes all the pressure off somebody and really lets them think and get involved in their processes instead of worrying about somebody hovering over their backside, wondering when they're going to get this done. And it shows in the way things are done, and when something needs to be done that's a little above and beyond or takes a little extra effort, you never hear them hesitate to do that because they're happy to do it because of that opportunity to be able to have the opportunity to work things out and find their way. So that's great. So, and as far as on the client side, I've witnessed that with the clients. I know that you're big on communication, and that has carried on through the organization. I think we're all good at communicating. Uh, we we text, we call, we follow up with emails. I mean, we're just go, whatever's needed to get the information out. We're good at doing that, and I think that's due to the example that you set, and knowing what the mission is, that the client has a good experience. We know the quickest way to turn a good client into a bad one is just not communicate.
Yeah.
And so we try to, that's a no-brainer almost, to have a good experience, just communicate, don't leave them hanging. So, great example on that too. So we appreciate that about your mission, about caring about the client and caring about your people. And I think that, pays dividends tenfold coming back to the company. So the last one is a big one. I know that this is something that, as being part of your team, I've learned that you really care a lot about culture and have worked really hard to develop a certain kind of culture. So could you share with us your philosophy about culture, the role that you think it plays in the business, and what you've done to shape that culture here to the way that you have it that's working so well?
Yeah, so I think that culture ultimately is how we do work, and it's how we reach the goals that we're trying to reach. But when I think about culture, it's the atmosphere that we have to come work in every day. It's what we have to come be a part of,
Yeah.
and you want that to be pleasant.
Yeah.
I know I can think of other jobs and other things, other areas I've worked in that the atmosphere wasn't so pleasant, and it wasn't a real good experience.
Yeah.
So if I'm wanting my clients to have a great experience, but I'm not having a good experience, that don't translate. That's not how it works.
Great point.
So I think that if we come here and we create an atmosphere that we enjoy, then that in turn, goes over to our client, and they're able to enjoy the process with us.
Absolutely.
I think, where we work out, the office, the setting, I think that's some part of it. But I think the biggest part of culture is just people.
Yeah.
And getting the people nailed down and getting the people right.
Yeah.
So we spent a great amount of time during our hiring process before we just bring anybody onto the team to make sure that they do fit our culture, and to make sure that they are going to be somebody that we can just bring right in and just be a good fit right off the bat.
Yeah.
There's a 3 or 4 part process to our hiring that really lends itself to finding the right person.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit of a long process, but it's also seen to be a valuable process because, we have a pretty high retention rate. There's only 1 or 2 employees that have ever kind of come on board and end up going somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I think that we do a really good job finding the right people, and I think that makes building the culture easy. We don't usually have a lot of kickback to the things that we're trying to do or things that we're trying to implement.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of team players. So that's really the main focus for me to get the culture right is getting the right people. I think the rest of the stuff you can just take care of. You almost want to say with money, but really just kind of setting the mood with the office and the different things that you have to be in every day. The people's the part that's kind of out of control. So you got to make sure you pick that person right the first time.
Yeah.
And we've been able to do that. We have a great team. We have a great culture. We hear that all the time. I constantly get texts about superintendents and PMs about how, hey, your guys are great, the best, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So we see that all the time, and something that I'm proud of. Like you say, I feel like I do have some small part in getting that team right. But
I'd say a large part.
but everybody also has to buy into our mission and buy into a lot of the things that we're talking about today for that culture to work. And fortunately, we've been able to do that. I feel like we have a great culture here. Everybody likes to come to work. Everybody likes to get the job done.
Yeah.
So I think that's why culture is important.
Yeah. Well, that's you hit all the high points as to why anyone would think culture is important, and you definitely feel it around here. You definitely see the benefits of you. Like you said, it's kind of a lengthy process the way you bring people on. You interview differently than anybody I've ever seen interview before with the group interview scenario, which I think is pretty innovative and pretty cool. And it definitely does speak to the people that, I guess, I don't know how you would say it. You said something before, like the cream rises to the top or something, but
Yeah.
in that interview situation, it's like they kind of stick out to you pretty quick who's going to be able to mesh into the team.
Right.
And you see it here because literally everybody just is happy to work together. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I've worked in places where you just dreaded going in the door, and I've never felt like that once here. Never once in
Right.
over 5 years.
The other key part too is when there is a little riff or there is some kind of little issue, and we're not perfect here. We run into little stuff.
Oh yeah.
It's just we get together and we hash it out. We get in the conference room and we talk about what's there, and
Yeah.
it's a sign of a great team when you can come in there and say, "Hey man, I don't really like the way you're doing this."
Yeah.
And you don't have anybody stomping out of the room, slamming doors.
That's right.
We're all open to that criticism, and we
Yeah.
make sure we get it right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a big part of who we are, and culture is huge here. So
Yeah, that's great, man. So this has been great. It's good to get a little introduction into the company and know a little bit about you as a person, as a business owner, what drives you, and what keeps you going. I think the vision thing was really cool. I mean, it's nice that the vision isn't just self-serving. It's really more, I guess you call it, family and community driven than anything, really.
yeah,
Which is kind of cool and very inspirational. So, anyways, we hope that you enjoyed this little introduction to getting to know Jon a little bit and getting to understand what has brought the Kelly Construction Group about and how it's come to be. We look forward to having a lot more episodes with you all and being able to share valuable business insights. Jon has 17 years in the business as a general contractor. Anybody that knows the business knows that it's not what you'd call a cakewalk. It is a challenging business, very doable, but takes a lot of focus, a lot of dedication. And after 17 years in the industry, there's a lot there that anyone could benefit from that runs their own company or is thinking about starting their own company. So we hope that you continue to join us. We're excited to be here, and we're just going to keep doing this now. Every week, we're going to bring you an episode and hopefully bring some sort of nugget of value that you can use in your day-to-day life. So thanks for joining us here. Catch us again at the K-Cup. You can catch us on YouTube at the K-Cup. And you can follow us on LinkedIn. Our page is the Kelly Construction Group. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave questions in the comment sections. We're definitely going to look at those. And if you have questions about the company or something that came up in the show, we'll be definitely looking at your comments there so that we can get back to you with an answer for your questions. So enjoyed it, and thanks for being here. Cut.